Hi everybody, what's up? Welcome back to another video within the Generative AI series, and in this video we'll be talking about an awesome feature that OpenAI once promised that they would release, but it finally got released a few days back within their Dev Day 2024 in San Francisco. So you might remember they sort of introduced a voice mode, which was actually good. It seemingly had emotions. It could laugh, it could, crack a sarcastic joke at you, which is now available on ChatGPT Plus. And if you need a visual of it, this is what it looks like. But this video is more about in-depth how you can sort of play around with Realtime API. And we'll get into the code right after this demo, and we'll sort of build some stuff out of it. So real quick, this is what it looks like. Hi, what's up?
Hi there. It seems like your message got cut off. What were you going to ask?
Nothing. Do you have real emotions?
I don't have real emotions like people do, but I can understand and respond to feelings based on what you share. It helps me communicate better. What about you? How are you feeling today?
I don't know. I'm feeling kind of low. Overworked.
I'm sorry to hear that. It's okay to feel low sometimes. Would you like to talk about what's on your mind?
Awesome. That's it. That's our demo. So, wow. I mean, I can think of a lot of applications of this. So this is what we have here. It's a feedback of what we actually discussed, but you can go on if you have ChatGPT Plus, go on and check it out. Let's get into how we can build this stuff. So a while back when you needed to build voice bots using OpenAI or any other LLM, you would follow the plain architecture that you see on your screen here. So we did build a similar application within this series. So I'll hook it up into the cards. Go ahead and watch it. It will help you get some context, and you can get back to this video later. So pretty simple stuff. A user would speak to the device, or it would send the audio file to the device. The device will interact with the server, send the audio file over there. The server would be a fast API lightweight server, and from here the server will get the audio file transcribed. So you can use OpenAI centric model for it, or you can use AWS Transcribe, which is kind of pretty cheap if you use for bulk audio files. So, but this is one round trip. Okay, so one round trip transcription. Once you have the transcription and you have like phrases and sentences of your audio file, you would send to get a stream response, which will be obviously from OpenAI itself or any other LLM of your choice. This would be a second round trip. And once you have the response, you want your device to speak that response to you in like an actual voice. So you would send it to another service, which can be AWS Poly, or again, you can use OpenAI centric voice modes as well. But again, this is a third round trip. So now what I really want you to do is to appreciate the fact that this solution is not the best solution. So we have text as an intermediate or as an intermediary here, and it's not efficient because we're getting 3 round trips and it will be kind of slow. It won't be abrupt. It won't be like the human communication that we experience with low latency. So it's also a psychological fact that anything that's below 2 seconds, a person would notice that, and that won't be an actual conversation. But the target is with AI making all these great leaps, we need to build out an experience which can help a user. For example, maybe you want to automate the therapist experience. Maybe you want to automate the customer management experience, customer success experience. So all of those things would only be possible when you would have a low latency solution, which in fact OpenAI's Realtime API provides you. So this here is the actual page for OpenAI's Realtime API, which is in beta. And as you can see, some of the elements that it states is like native speech-to-speech, no text intermediary, means low latency and nuanced outputs. Natural steerable voices. So the voice modes can actually, mimic human emotions, mimic human tones, and which is kind of cool when you interact with it, just like the demo you saw at the start of the video. So simultaneous multimodal outputs, that's like a one great feature, that it's multimodal and stuff. So okay, so here we have the quick start, and let me get you guys into the code and how we can sort of run this whole thing or plan this whole thing. So it's like a two-step process. Firstly, I'm just gonna teach you guys in this video how you can set up the solution. If you just copy and paste the solution from OpenAI's site, it might not work. You might have to tweak the solution a bit. So this particular draft that I have here actually has the whole thing, and it's actually runnable. It runs without any error, and I'll explain it step by step to you guys as well. But what you need to understand is, like, this is a one-part video. This video would have a second part, which actually includes the voice mode. So in this video, we'll just hook up everything, plug in everything together, and see that this real-time API is working on text first. Because when we'll actually make it work on text, it's then easier to sort of add audio buffers and audio to it. So currently the real-time API supports both text and audio. So this particular example is for text. So let's walk through it. So what you need is like a WebSocket application that works. Okay, firstly, let me walk you through the solution first. So here I have this whole thing, and it's more like a Node.js based solution, because here what they have provided us with is just a Node.js application. So that's all we have got. Hopefully they would sort of roll out something for Python as well, and then we can do a video on a Python walkthrough. So we need a WebSocket based library. We need a .env file. You know the drill. The syntax might be a bit different, but if you're Python folks, bear with me. It's all good. Right, so nothing fancy here. We have index.mjs. It's kind of really important because this particular file uses import statements. So for them to work within Node, you need to rename your file as MJS. And the Node compiler would sort of pick it up like, okay, MJS, somebody's using imports within this code. All right, very important point. Okay, so this is how you get the configurations to be loaded within the runtime of Node by using config. And I'll come to this later, what this basically means, but these are the status code that I'm going to use later in the code for the transactional experience. So we need this URL, and this URL is like a static URL that you can use. It's basically a URL where you'll connect to a WebSocket. Also, the real-time API is only available on GPT-4o. So that's one little additional information for you guys. So here we initialize our WebSocket. It's kind of important to state our authorization header. So you need your OpenAI API key. This step is kind of optional since I've divided my projects into more like I have an organization and I have different projects so that I can track billing. So this is optional, but I think it's pretty recommended if you're using organization as well. Then we have OpenAI Beta, which is real-time V1. All right. Next, we need to, so these are all callback methods. So in case I encounter some sort of an error on this WebSocket, so I'm just going to go here and print the error message. And this is a callback when my a socket is open, when the first time connection is established. So I'm just going to print out to the console that, it's connected to the server, and I'm going to send a particular event. So this real-time API is more like event-centric. So you send events and you receive events. So that's how it goes. So if you have like slight background of programming fundamentals, or if you have worked in sockets in Python, you know what I'm talking about. So it's more like a bidirectional communication, hence the low latency factor, which we needed so badly while building voice spots. And this here is a callback when you actually receive a particular message. So this is where you actually get a response from the real-time API. So let's talk about the events. So they have an extensive documentation on what kind of events are out there. I think it's stated somewhere over. Let me scroll it down for you guys. Okay, so API reference. Okay, so here we have a couple of events, session update, and mostly all of these are client events that you see over here. So input audio buffer append, input audio buffer commit. So these are more in terms of, how you need to use the audio buffer, within the client side, and what kind of tools are available for you to sort of append those events. And then you have some server events as well. And here's it's quite extensive list. So if you really want more information, you can go through it. So currently, what you really need to know whenever a response is basically sent by the Realtime API. So this is a stream response, right? If you followed the videos within this series before, you would know that the stream response is basically wrapped in a object of delta. So delta is like, okay, I'm sending you something, but a lot of stuff can be remaining. So this is more like an constant or an indicator for that kind of a response. And once we're done with the response, this is the flag that we will be using within our code. So this is exactly what I'm doing here. We're sending out an event, JSON stringify. It's basically more like JSON. If you're from Python, you would know that JSON dumps and JSON loads. So this is basically what's happening over here. So we're dumping our JSON and we're stringifying. And this is the type of the event is response create. So basically I'm initiating the API to create a particular response. And the modalities are text. This is like, you can also state audio here, but for now in this video, we're doing text. In the next video, we'll sort of edit whole of this code and transform into audio modality. And the instruction is like, please assist the user. So that's more like my ask for the Realtime API. All right, so once I get everything done, this is a callback that I'm using to actually get back a message. And once a message, here I get my message and I sort of break it down and I check the type of the message. So if it's delta, it means I'm getting a stream response, and I can just use the delta over here with a with the variable, and I'm just appending the incoming messages. And once it's done, I just sort of keep on printing it out, and everything is good. So that's pretty much what the code for Realtime API looks like. And I can go ahead and run it. So for this, I'm going to use node index.mjs and connect it to the server. My WebSocket is established and it should send me a response. And here we go. So this is a stream response that we got in our Delta, and it says, sure, how can I assist you today? And from here on, we would actually add more text from our side or an audio buffer. Cool stuff. So since we have the response now, we can start a conversation here. And in the next video, we'll see how we can roll out our conversation, text-based conversation, and how we can convert these text-based conversation into audio conversations. So upcoming, I believe 1 or 2 videos would be around Realtime API and how we can play around with it and build useful voice bots out of them. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you got the gist of what Realtime API represents. I'll see you in the next one.